Hey there, guys. How we doing? DJ Slope here from Slope's Game Room. So, yes, just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update. In all honesty, let you know what's going on behind the scenes. All right, I'm putting my grunty voice on just for you because I'm trying to calm the grunty voice down a little bit. Because basically, the last video I just did, the Bubsy Complete History, I actually set that out as an MP3 just so I can listen to it and see how it works as potentially a podcast. It's no extra work for me, and I think they work. So many people watch my videos without looking at the video, so I feel like this has been quite interesting. And I know if I was on my way to work still, back when I used to work in an office an hour away, I'd like to listen to that sort of thing, to and from work. I think that would be quite interesting. So potentially this is something that might happen in the future. It is actually definitely changing up the way I script a little bit. Instead of just saying, as you can see, I'm actually describing what I can see a little bit more. Those sort of things, which I think lends itself quite well to the video side of things as well. But anyway, that's all lots of maybes up in the air at the moment. What I did want to talk to you guys about is what's coming up. So the Bubsy Complete History really lit a fire in my belly. It wasn't the biggest Complete History to do. It definitely was quite long considering it didn't have that many games. But I really liked the way I made that video. I'm just super proud of that video. And I've decided, you know what? Now it's finally time to take on some stupidly big games. And I can show you what the next one's going to be. Because I actually only own officially one game in this massive series. Although I've played probably about 80% of the releases. There's so many. And it's going to be this. Let's have a look. Oh, Contra. Oh, yes. Contra the Complete History is what I am working on. So this is not going to be done by this weekend. No way. Quite happy with that title card. Yeah. So, like I say, yeah, Contra the Complete History. It's one that, that'd be quite good to do one day, sort of things, but it's such a ridiculously long video that I don't know if I can do this. Turns out I'm in the mood to do something quite ridiculous. So, Contra the Complete History is going to be the first on that. Like I say, I'm still working in the background on Pac-Man, although when I say working in the background, I haven't actually opened that script for a good couple of weeks at least. So, I mean, that will come when it's ready. But, yeah, I think it's about time I did a good, manly 16-bit platformer to pull in those sort of complete histories again like I did. What a game. This is Contra 3, in case you was wondering. I'm certain it's Contra 3, actually. I've not played my Japanese one yet. I picked it up in Norway. Interesting stuff. It's exciting, definitely, but it's a lot of work. So currently in my script, I haven't done the intro. I've decided I'm going to do the intros last in my scripts. They just work nicer because, I do that thing where I explain a little bit about what's coming up in the video, which is obviously hard to do when you don't know all of its history. So, as far as my script goes, it literally starts off with the first line of the script is, back in the early 80s, 1981 to be exact, a young Koji Hiroshita, an eager and intelligent computer user from Osaka, Japan, joined the video game company Konami and got to work straight away on Amida, a sort of maze-type puzzle game that involves you controlling a gorilla running along several lined grid-type patterns in order to get all the boxes on the grid filled in whilst dodging the enemies. So instantly straight into it, and that's what I want to start doing with my complete histories. No messing about. So obviously once I've done all this, I'm going to do a short 1.5 minute intro before the intro musical intro sequence, just to whet the appetite of everyone. But I've basically got to the point where I've talked all about the original NES title and the arcade one, all of the home computer ports, talked about Super C, which is the second game, Super Contra or Pro Protector 2 as well. Talked about that game's ports. I've talked about the Game Boy version, and is that as far as I've got? 7 pages into my script. Yeah. that's as far as I've got. Yeah, that's right. I thought I did one more. No, that's as far as I've got. Obviously, yeah, it's because there's so much to talk about with like the arcade ports, and then obviously the arcade originals, and then the ports, and then all of the home computer ports, and all that sort of thing, and obviously the massive legacy that the NES versions brought in. Oh, I did actually talk about a game that came out in 2011, which was essentially a port as well of the original, released in the arcade, surprisingly, called Contra Evolution, I think it was called. Oh, and the LCD game. So there's a few that I've talked about in there already. I think my son's about to come through the door. We'll see. Yeah, that's as far as I've got. I'm going to stop here. I've just created that title card. And now I want to give myself a bit of a break, and I'm going to start looking up some Kick Scammer related stuff so that I can do the Kick Scammer news segment for this month. My plan for the month in total is to basically get your Kick Scammer news out this week, which is an easier video to make, means I can get to work on the Contra video more, get ready so that next week I'm bang, ready to go with hopefully recording done, and I can just get on with the editing. And this week I can just get my typical Kick Scammer news video out. So that's the plan. But I would like to get one decent, proper top 5e or single list, whatever, of a proper Kick Scammer news, perhaps after the Contra video. We will see. Or before, depends how long this one's going to take, because it's going to be a big video. So yes, that's the way it's all going. In regards to Patreon stuff, people out there that are Patreon members that get t-shirts, you should, if you're in the UK, be receiving them either today, but more than likely tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest. They got shipped out last Friday, although I think I did miss the post for Friday. So yeah, you should be getting those early to mid this week. So I think there's 5 of you in total. Mantis, who's part of the Slope Crate, getting the I Love Sega box. That got sent out, and that went via Parcel Force, so you should be getting that on Tuesday. The other person that gets a Slope box actually got to meet in person in Margate. So Gary, so yeah, you've already got yours, buddy. Be quiet about what's in there. And that means, yeah, I'm ahead with all of that sort of stuff. What's coming up? What else have I got to talk about? This Wednesday stream, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'm thinking I'm going to be moving towards doing another one of those I've never played, come and help me sort of ones. I did the last one, which was like Pokemon. I've never played Pokemon. I've never played a Pokemon game. Come and watch me play Pokemon Yellow, and people in the audience really enjoyed that. They were giving me advice and all that sort of thing, because I just didn't know how to play those games. I've never played a Pokemon game before. I think I'm going to do that again. So this time I'm thinking of maybe talking about the very original Zelda. I've never played Zelda on the NES, and I think that'd be quite a cool thing to play. You know, I seriously don't think it'll be a game that I get sucked into, but you never know. So maybe that's going to be this Wednesday. I'm pretty sure that's going to be this Wednesday's not complete history. We want to talk about live stream. That'll be that, and then obviously, you know, all of you guys can join me in after that. And what else? Oh yes, this Thursday I want to do this with you all. The most underrated games ever. So I've done the most overrated games ever. That was a little podcast thingy I'd done. Who was on that? There was me. There was Top Hat Gaming. There was a few Patreons in there. It was a good one. And this is going to be a crappier list, because you could put absolutely any game, even Ocarina of Time to some people. I'm sure there's people out there that want to hear more about that game, you know. So this is just basically going to be a list of games that we like, and more people should know about this game, because my most underrated game that I think I'm going to choose is actually a fairly popular game as well, and I'm sure if I think it's a fairly recent game as well, like within the last 5 or so years. A little bit longer than that, actually. It's just going to be a fun time to chat to people. So just if you guys are all part of that YouTube member tier 3 and up, and then I think it's the $10 tier up on Patreon, which is essentially the same amount. Let me know. If you want to be part of this podcast, we're going to record that this Thursday. I'll try and do it as absolutely late as possible, probably around about the 10 p.m. mark for the UK time, so 10 p.m. UK time. Then, you know, drop me a message on Discord. Please don't comment on this video, because most of the time I won't see it. I'll try and remember to look just in case anybody does. But basically, yeah, as you know, I upload this on another channel, so I don't get the notifications. So, you got that. I'd like to be able to do that on this Thursday. I already know there's going to be quite a few people in there. I don't know what YouTuber I'm going to get in there. Like I said, I had Larry in the first time. I had Top Hat Gaming in the second time. Maybe one of those will come back. Maybe I'll get Kim Justice or someone. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be cool. It'll be a good time. But message me if you want to be a part of that. And I think we're about there. There is one other thing I wanted to show you guys. So basically, yeah, that's what's happening. If you want to go, you can go. Thank you all so much for supporting, all that sort of jazz. But what I'm going to do now for the people that still stick around is I want to show you the back end of the Bubsy video. And I'm dragging this out because I'm waiting for the file to open up because it was a huge file. Here we go. So I'm going to move this over to my capture full screen. Here it is. Let's just make that a bit smaller. So yeah, I just basically wanted to show you guys what goes on when I create a video. So this is my Bubsy complete history. How much work goes into these videos? I mean, you know, obviously a lot of work goes into these particular types of videos. But yeah, it's pretty hardcore. Let me start going through here. I'll just put my webcam on so you can actually see me. There we go. Put that over there. Right, let me show you what goes on in these types of videos then. So, oh my God, there's just so much. Right, so to start off with, you always start off with basically, I basically record everything in front of a camera, and I've got my microphone right there, and then basically I record the whole thing, put it through Audacity, and then clean up my audio, and then line up the audio from my Audacity to my from the audio caught on the camera, which obviously isn't very good. I then delete the camera audio, spend probably a day. I think this one was actually closer to 2 days, cleaning up all of the audio, adding in all of the music, adding sound effects until what I've got is basically the most bare bones video you can get. At the most I'll add at the beginning is probably like an advert or something like that, which would be things like this part here, yeah, where it was on, I think it was on, what had this been on, Bad Influence?
This is Bubsy's first adventure on the Super Nintendo, called Claws Encounters of the Third Kind. On this Bobcat's travels, he has to avoid many pitfalls as well as collecting all the yarn balls that he may encounter. The 16 meg cart has great music and graphics, as well as some of the best speech I've ever seen on the Super Nintendo. He has become a cult hero in America and looks like doing the same in the UK.
There you go. You get the idea. But basically, yeah, I add all of those sort of things in, so I just wanted to add the music in there so you guys get to hear a little bit more about exactly what it is I do. I'm just going to turn this down so you don't get a lot of echo. You'll get a little bit, but not much. So yeah, that's basically what it is. So this top line is my cleaned up audio of me talking. This line here is my cleaned up music that I've taken from YouTube. And how do I select my music? I mean, obviously, for the most part, I like to choose music from the games itself, but what I like to do in the reference part of the history part of the videos, I like to talk about things that sort of sound like the thing I'm talking about. As an example, let me show you. It's obviously using just normal Bubsy music there. Right at the beginning, I mentioned about Sonic the Hedgehog. There you go.
It doesn't get
beautiful
much more
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 music going
this.
in there, all that sort of
Sonic
stuff.
the Hedgehog. Well, okay, you got married.
Right at the beginning, when I say that, you know, I start talking about the history side of things, I talk about the 80s quite a lot. So I've got a bit of nice 80s music here. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. From Drift Stage, that is. Awesome music.
Our journey starts all the way back in 1981 with the release of Utopos.
It will look all jaggedy because it's my preview screen, but yeah, you get the idea. Yeah, so that's basically how I do all of that. Some Temtem music, that's quite big at the moment. That's not why I put it in there, but I just thought it sounded quite good. Fitting with the rest of like the sort of Sonic sort of sounding soundtrack. And then obviously we go back into some more Sonic because I talk about Sonic. Obviously this game references that sort of thing quite a lot. As we start talking about the Simpsons, obviously
at the recommendation of my art director then, we contracted with him to do some sketches,
why that's
and he
there,
almost got it
a lot
right
of the time
first
people see the
I said to him,
the
basically,
connection,
you got to
like,
picture
oh, I
this
see what you
Bobcat
did, adding
being
Batman music in there when you're talking about comics or whatever it may be. You know, so that sort of thing. It works. When it got all weird and glitchy and technical, I use Machinarium music because that technically works. So that's how I do all of that sort of stuff. I don't like anymore just dropping in clips like from the top to the bottom and then just playing them. I like to actually make it feel like everything just all works together. I'm a big fan of making it seem like you're changing through channels, like glitchiness, and that's basically what this is here. So these sound effects that I got were from a radio static tuning sound effects. So someone trying to tune in a radio, which I know technically doesn't work because it's video, but it's kind of the same thing. So as an example,
Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Third Kind.
I mean, there is so much going on the screen in that one little bit, and that this tiny bit that you see right here, this would have taken me, I wouldn't say an hour, but a long ass time to try and find these clips, put it all together, see how it would work. So let's go down to the actual visual effects. Here we go. Right, so we've got the game coming in. I found some stock footage of, you know, a tired salesman for some reason. I can't remember what it was I was talking about, but yeah, he's in the background.
There's numerous interviews with Mike explaining that the company
had already coming in, which is a green screen shot. Then I've got to stop that green screen and make it like one picture and just drag that along. Then everything starts going weird. So you got the big explosion.
Pretty much destroy the company.
There you go.
Thankfully for them, all that hard work and wishful thinking did pay off, because on March the 4th, 1993,
over the top, I actually found a broken VHS footage, and although you can hardly see it, let me find. So this white background with all the glitchy lines and that's actually just one video in itself, which is actually lower down. There it is. Old retro paper background, royalty free stock footage. But on the top, I'm trying to get for a bit where you'd actually see something. There we go. Right, okay, so this here, all these lines and all that sort of thing is actually a VHS tape being all broken up from, like, you know, very glitchy VHS tape. And what I've done is I've used a chroma keyer, and for people that don't know what that is, that means where you take away one particular color from a particular video or picture, and in this case I've taken away all of the dark imagery, so what's left is only the glitchy lines, and it gives off this
on March the 4th, 1993 in America, and later that same year for the rest of the world and competing systems.
As an example, if I turn that effect off, you can see what the original video looked like. It looked like that. You see what I mean? It's like completely different.
Year for the rest of the world and competing systems.
So you'll get all that, and then if I actually put it back on, there you go.
Year for the rest of the world and competing systems.
I just thought that was quite a nice effect. You all right? No, it's not. I am recording, but go on. Wow. I'm recording quite a bit though, but yeah. Have you spoke to them about it, or? Okay, we'll see. Anyway, sorry about that. Right, okay. So
year for the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's what I do there. I quite like that. And the idea about that is it started to break in, and then that's when the channel almost changes or gets tuned into something else, and then that's when
Kind was released.
And the other reason I've done that is because the only footage I could find of this advert was the beginning broken off, so it almost like it just suddenly came in. I just thought that was a nice little effect. It goes into a telly there as well, which saves me doing that typical thing I normally do where I have a blurred background of the same image stretched out. So yeah, there's a lot of that sort of stuff. I'll show you another part which I quite like. Let's break into a bit earlier on, which I was really proud of. Right, so this is me just going so over the top. So I'm talking about the classic Fletcher cartoon-styled cartoons, things like Popeye, Betty Boop, which the Mike Berlin, the designer of Bubsy, wanted to take away that sort of influence from those old classic cartoons and put them into this game. So obviously I've shown like some of the original drawings for the game, for the cars in the game there, but I wanted to actually bring that Fletcher style in. So the music that you hear in the background is royalty free, they say, but I've stretched it out just to be extra short. Betty Boop music. Normally when you go to YouTube, if you actually show more on the description, if it's been picked up, you know, like it'll say this thing like this song is owned by, you know, Universal, blah 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 blah. If it hasn't got all that on there, you're normally a little bit safer putting that in your videos, but I still like to stretch the video ever so slightly, make it to like 90% speed. Well, actually, it works at 110. No, 90% speed. All that sort of thing, and that works for me. That works. So let me show you how I bring this in.
Game.
So yeah, there's actually Betty Boop footage there.
Anyway, back again.
That little bit there, took me so long to do, and it showed up for seconds. So what have I done here? Firstly, this whole thing around the edge, these curtains, that is a still from a classic Betty Boop cartoon that I just ripped off YouTube. So what I did, I pulled it down, I opened it up in VLC, I took a high screen snapshot, and then one by one in a tiny little bit, let me show you this. So I literally cut around, this is obviously the Contron, but I cut around ever so slightly the whole thing until I had that entire curtain. And that is literally it. It took way too long. Actually, it's going to be here. I can show it to you. In my pictures, I really shouldn't be showing this in case anything naughty comes up. There it is. Look at that. I cut that out all the way around, because in the centre it had like the people that worked on the cartoon, you know, like the name of the cartoon, Betty Boop in, blah, blah, blah. But I thought it was a really sexy image, and I'll save that in my cut folder so I can use that in a future video one day. But yeah, that's what I've done. I've obviously given it a little bit of a faded edge actually on the soft. Oh no, I didn't in the end. But yeah, okay. Oh no, I did. There you go. So yeah, I've added a shadow effect. That's the word I was looking for, to put around the edge, just so it makes it look a little bit smoother. Because obviously, if you compare it to what you just saw, it's quite jaggedy. So yeah, I've done that. Then I've added some green screen film effect, film damage. If I go through that, you can see those little like black dots and lines. They're all over it. Now the white bits that you can see, it's just so much going on. It's absolutely stupid. Is this right here? So just like before, I've taken away, I've used a chroma key here, so it removes one color of the image, and I've removed all of the dark red colors to see all of this. Anyway, all like that. So I've done that. And if I take off that effect, I can show you what it looked like before. There it is. I'm quite a big fan of that sort of grindhouse effect. Anyway, so like all like that. I remember this took so long to do, so long. And then I went even further and decided that I wanted to have a burn screen effect, and I just couldn't find any good ones. There was a couple of green screen ones, but they just took too much away from the actual burn screen itself. So even though it's not the greatest effect in the world, what I decided to do was actually sort of find some burn screen that's actually happened on YouTube somewhere, and then just cut only the burn part out. So I'll show you how I did that. Right, so let's take this over here onto this screen. So I've got two of these ultra wide screens. One side's for my editing style, and the other side's my actual editing software. So I take that off. This is what the video should have looked like. This is what the video should have looked like. So if I press, it's hard having it on the screen. I'm sort of all over the place myself here a little bit. So yeah, here we go. Anyway, back again. The character design took months. The company had one idea. So that's what it should have looked like. Besides the fade out at the end, I did that. But if I turn this mask back on, what you can see down here, there's this oval shape. So basically what this does is it only shows what's in the circle. So at the moment, at this particular frame in the video, it's not showing any of this that I've put in. But by the time that it moves over here, you see the circles moving over to my next keyframe that I've done, which is only just coming in there, coming in at the top, which you can't really see, to be fair. And it's going to smoothly transition over to here. As you can see, look, the burn is starting to come in up to here. The burn's getting a bit more, got a bit more of a shape to it. Over to here, and it's just going to keep going. I'll just slowly do that. Slowly do that, slowly do that, slowly do that. Just keep going until it basically fills up the entire screen, which is here, which is what I've done. And then what it should do from there, obviously, is just continue to play the video. I mean, if you look on this preview screen right here, I mean, yeah, it just keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going, it's going. But what I do is, I can close this down now. What I do is I put this gradient wipe on, which I believe would be this one here. But yeah, here we go. But what I do is I bring that gradient wipe blur and the threshold blend all the way up. So if I turn that all the way down, you can see the difference. Check this out. Back again. The character design took really months. The company had one idea in their head, and Mike had enough. Very harsh. If I take that blur back on, oh, I think I went back too many times then. Never mind. Let's do a redo. There we go. Where if I do it like this,
back again.
so
The character design took months. The company had one idea in their head, and Mike had another. They wanted the cat to wear trousers.
From there, that took so long to find that right type of burn screen. From there, obviously, I take the chroma key off of the original footage, which you can see here. So obviously, that's carrying on from that, and that's the background. You can see that. You can see there it's all red and
here in their head, and Mike had another. They wanted the cat to wear trousers. My guess is a nice baggy pair of Dickies to bring the character up to date.
Quite nice. The images that you can see on the screen right there were minuscule, absolutely minuscule, and I can show you that by going to my. I'm really bad at keeping my folders all neat and tidy. So basically, my Superman folder, which is when I did my Superman Superman kick scammer video, it ended up becoming my Bubsy folder as well. So basically, I would get hold of and basically anything I download by the looks of it. Let me find, where would I have done that? Well, let's see that it's all moved into the Superman stuff now. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. So that picture right there is where I got these images from. So, but obviously if you zoom into them, I mean, look how jaggedy they look. They're not too bad, to be fair. Yeah, they look really, really jaggedy. So what I did is I opened up a program called Waifu 2X. So then I would basically blow up that image until it looked like this, which is a lot better when zoomed in. Just makes it a little bit neater, a little bit cleaner. Then I cut them all out in GIMP, which is basically a freeware version of Photoshop. And then you ended with that. There they are. And there you go. You see how much effort just like one tiny little bit, like this one tiny bit would have taken, because obviously the fact that I know what to do would have taken me like no time at all, but you make this up as you go along. It takes quite a while. And yeah, like
pair of Dickies to bring the
look, I'll get Dickies, but I want to make sure that Dickies logo is the same color, so I'm going to put some sepia contrast on top of the Dickies logo, because that's what it's supposed to look like. There we go, that sort of color. I wanted it to look a bit darker and a bit more like an old video, an old film, an old projector. I've still got my green screen effects going over the top. So yeah, I mean, it just takes forever, and then it goes all the way over to me here.
And that's when Ken got it right.
But I put so many effects on here, like
first time.
Now,
for anybody out there that's watched that classic Simpsons episode, the Itchy, Scratchy and Poochie show, you know, the one where the artist is drawing it down and you got the execs.
But I was quite happy with it. And it all goes all the way over, and
well, the same thing happened here. At the recommendation of my
just to get around YouTube kicking off about what do you call it, like, you know, like visual copyright and all that sort of stuff. I put the video in, it's sped up ever so slightly, also to make sure that whole scene fits into this tiny little bit where I'm talking. I've added the same video on top of that particular video so that I can give it a blurred effect around the edge. People know what it is, but it moves me away a little bit more from getting hit by copyright. As an example, look, take it off. You see, just adding a little something in there, and I think it fits the style a little bit better as well. Then we come back in, you know. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I could go on about this all day.
Now,
but these are just some of the things
Bubsy
that
itself
I do
actually comes from his brother-in-law's description
some of the time
of
I make it up
rounded,
on the fly,
bouncy,
but
happy
a lot
things
of the time,
such as a Volkswagen
I know this
Beetle.
style quite well.
And
that's a very typical thing that I do here. Let me show you this. So I don't like keeping one image static. So just having these right there, having
now
them move,
the name
it just keeps
Bubsy itself actually comes from his brother-in-law's description of rounded, bouncy, happy things such as a
car comes in, it
Volkswagen
overtakes
Beetle.
it, then I can remove
And in
the
the
image,
early days,
and
Bubsy himself actually had a baseball bat, and his
it. You see, it's
explanation
just
point on his
tiny little things like that. Obviously doing little things like when you actually move a car in. So obviously look, there it is at the top right hand corner, bringing it into the center. But when it moves away, instead of it just going dunk and going down to the left hand side, actually give it a little bit of a bounce. As you can see, it's going to go back a little bit and then go forward. You see what I mean? It's a little enough, just gives it that little bit of bouncy, cartoony flair, which was what this video was very styled on, you know. So I think it worked. Is there much else I can really show you that really stands out, that's worth talking about? Probably, in all honesty, but there you go. People always ask, how do I do that thing where I have the gameplay and the footage behind? It is literally, as you see here, the same footage behind in front of other footage, that footage is stretched out and it's got a blur effect on it. If I turn that off, there's the same game behind it. Yeah, that's all that is. What else is there to talk about? You know what? I think we're there. In all honesty, I think that's probably enough that we can get on. Little things like this right here. I'm in the mode now. I can show you this all day. It just takes so long.
And how was this even possible? Well, it was because of YouTubers.
Here we go.
Oh, jeez, I just don't
finding the clips
really
of people
want to
doing it
do
and the best
this,
parts
but
of the videos to use. You know, this took like a good hour or so.
This, of all things, was the original vision?
Well, I guess Bubsy doesn't want me to play the game anymore, so I'll do just that.
You were supposed to be the chosen one!
What could possibly go wrong?
Motherfucking Bubsy 3D.
And then that
With the
music is just so good. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, but the music, the score for it was pretty cool. It was quite pumping. But yeah, anyway, that's what I do. Here's your cinematic tension build up. There's no, I haven't actually sped that. Oh no, I have sped that up. There you go. Look, it's 173%. Obviously meaning that, like, I mean, look, it should be that long, but I've stretched it right up to build it up faster, and again to get around any kind of like sound effects copyright or anything like that. That's how I make a video. This particular video took about a week of solid hard work, but probably about 10 or 12 days, something like that. That's how long it really took, and I'm super proud of it. Yeah, really chuffed. I just love doing all these weird effects. Like, look at this, like finding some rain footage and taking away the black, which obviously leaves black because there's black behind the black. But the reason I do that is because you've got Ganon down here, and then I add a color corrector to make him almost completely dark, but then bring it in just ever so slightly so you can see his face and get people pumped in case they ever decide to do a Zelda Complete History. That's what I'm doing. I just looked and I was made myself wide. I was like, have I not recorded this? But no, there you go. That is how I make my videos. How I make my big complete history videos. Kick scammers are a lot easier to make, in all honesty, and that's why they're the videos I do in between kick scammers. Even though the in between the complete histories, even though kick scammers technically bring in more views, subs, and everything else related to that. Anyway, I hope you like this little look on what I do. I think I've rambled quite enough. If there's anything in particular you guys are interested in, let me know. I'm more than happy to show you. Here's my cut folder. Look at this. These are all things that I've mostly cut out myself that I've used in previous videos. So if I ever think to myself, oh, I need something to do with Angry, there's all the video things I use for Angry, and then I'll just drag them in there. And as I make new ones, I put them into this cut folder, renamed. I'm very behind in adding extra stuff. Probably a good 3 or 4 months of things I've added in previous videos. So I need to go through all of those old folders, put them in here, delete the folders, and then I've got a nice fresh computer again. That's what goes on with Slopes Game Room. That's how I make my videos. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little look into what I do. Again, guys, thank you so much for supporting me as much as you do, because it really does help. And I tell you what, even though Bubsy hasn't put in massive numbers, it's brought in a few new Patreons. So I mean, that's nothing but a good thing, is it? I don't think so. Well, at least they've come in after Bubsy. I'm assuming it's because of Bubsy the reason they're here. So yeah, I want to continue making more videos like this, and hand on heart, if it isn't for you guys doing this, then I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd have to either go back to work, or I would be doing eShop, what's on the eShop videos, you know, really not the sort of content I would like to make, put it that way. Right, thank you all so much, guys. I'm going to stop it here, and basically I'm going to start working on some kick scammer related stuff. And yeah, that's probably where we're going to be. That'll be the next time you hear from me, when I've got some kick scammer stuff to show you. Catch you later, people. Bye bye.